And hello and welcome to the masterclass, the high ticket offer masterclass, where I'm going to show you how to create a premium offer that your dream clients can't wait to buy. And look, we're going to be doing a lot of engagement and moving and interacting throughout this particular masterclass. So make sure you get your notebook and a pen. If you use your MacBook, that's perfectly fine. And make sure you minimize distractions because you do not want to miss anything. I'm going to move around quite a bit in terms of my physical position. I'm going to be here. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go over to the smart board. I've got Jeff behind the scenes. So whenever I start talking to somebody, you will know that it is Jeff behind the scenes. And I have my iPad and I have my laptop. So if I'm not directly looking at the camera, you know why. Let's jump right into it. So the very first thing is you want to have an identity shift before your transformation, right? So it's all about your identity. How you show up in the marketplace is going to determine whether or not your offer is going to be perceived in the mind's eye of your dream clients as to be a high ticket offer. So this masterclass is going to be designed to shift, number one, how you think, how you see your expertise, because you have to be a specialist, you have to be an expert at what you do, how you position yourself in the marketplace. I think I said that one already. How you communicate your value, and then how you structure the transformation that you help your dream clients get from where they are to where they want to be. And you have to be able to demonstrate that you were once here, you are currently where they want to be, and then your high ticket offer is the vehicle that's going to help them experience their transformation. All right, so first we're going to talk about, I'm going to keep my iPad plugged up for now because I didn't do a great job of making sure it was charged before, so I'll leave the iPad going on the charger. All right, but the psychology of premium buyers. So meaning why people buy at high ticket levels. They don't purchase based on price. There are 5 key things that premium buyers, high ticket buyers utilize to help them make their decision. All right, so number 1 is identity alignment. Meaning your identity, who you are as a leader, how you show up. That's what can they see themselves in you, right? This isn't always about race and it is not always about gender. However, do we identify with each other and are we aligned in our identity? Number 2, status elevation. Is your offer going to change my status? Am I going to go from the level that I currently am at to 1, 2, or 5 levels higher than where I am currently? Speed of transformation. Look, we live in a microwave society where people want to know if I can get my packages from Amazon tomorrow, next day, or if I can get an order that I made from Walmart the same day. Like sometimes I just grocery shop that way because I don't want to go out to the grocery store. It saves me a whole lot of time. So I just order groceries online, right? Simplicity of execution, meaning does your high ticket offer require them to jump through rings of fire in order to get the promise or the outcome that you ultimately said that they would get? And then safety and risk reduction. All right. And so I'm going to break down for you as we go through each of the modules in this masterclass. I'm going to break down for you how you can do each of those things. All right. So why they buy from you. Premium clients buy from the leader, right? Notice I said the leader, right? You have to consider yourself to be a leader. You have to be a guide, a mentor who is taking them on a journey, right? So you have to speak to their future identity. You have to offer the most clearest and the simplest path. You have to eliminate the most friction. So anything that forces them to jump through hoops to give you money, they should not have to burn a lot of mental calories in order to give you money. So keep everything simple, right? You want to make sure that you are projecting, right? So I tell people often that your brain, your body, everything about you is like the projector screens that they use. Well, I don't know if they still use them, but they used to use these in schools where, you know, the projector was on the little table or the little cart, and then there was a board up front. Sometimes it was the actual wall, or they pulled the screen down, and then the teacher would go over and put something on this little glass, and then it would reflect out, right? So that's the old school method. But then you still have projector screens that, you know, come in from an HDMI cable from a laptop or some kind of video source, and then it projects out on the wall as well. And so you are that projector, right? So what you put out into the world tells people what you have going on inside of you, right? Your mental health, your physical health, your energy, like how you show up in the marketplace. That is what's going to let people know what you have going on inside of you. And then, do you display authority and empathy? And I know a lot of people in the marketplace talk about authority, and a lot of people talk about empathy too. But the one that I think is most important between the two is empathy, right? Are you able to say, hey, I understand exactly, excuse me, what you're going through, your pains, your frustrations. Why? Because I've been there. I've been exactly where you are. So, for example, when it comes to creating high ticket offers, I know exactly what it's like to say, hey, look, I've got expertise. I know I deserve to be paid big bucks for my expertise. I believe I'm amazing. I believe that I can help people experience transformation. But how in the hell do I package myself up so that other people can see that I'm qualified to do all of those things? And so that's why I'm creating this masterclass specifically for you, so that you can get from where you are to where you want to be and make the money that you ultimately have earned, whether it's through you've worked in corporate America, meaning, you know, a job in the military, or even right now, if you're still in a job, and it's that, you know, you don't have to have had a job to do this, but if you know that you have some experience from your professional life that you can transfer over and turn it into a side hustle that gives you additional income, or if you already have an offer, but you want to strengthen that offer so that you can turn your part-time business or your side hustle into your primary source of income, resign yourself from your job, or even resign your significant other from your job, or from their job, I promise you, this is what's going to help you do it. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to share my MacBook screen. So Jeff, let's switch over to the MacBook screen. All right, so what we're going to do here in Module 2, we're going to talk about the 4 forces of an irresistible offer. Let me make this a little bit larger. Okay, so force number 1 is a transformational, crystal clear dream outcome. If you're not able to help your dream clients understand what they're going to get out of it, then your offer is not good enough. So people need to have clarity and understanding the exchange of value. So they're going to give you their money in exchange for the value that you're promising inside of your offer. Now, this is not what they get. This is who they become. Remember, it's all about identity transformation. It's not about templates, checklists. I mean, you're going to add those items, and we'll talk about them more in a second. All of those things help come together to create your offer. However, even your bonuses, your templates, checklists, and guides, they have to help them experience an identity transformation. All right. So you want to be able to say, what identity shift does this particular offer unlock? What status does it give them? And how does life change, or even their business, once they have access to your offer? You want to become the leader who attracts premium clients consistently, builds a business that works without burnout, and operates with clarity, confidence, and in control. Like, I believe that's what you want, right? And so that's part of the offer that we, particularly offer here within our company to help you experience that kind of transformation, right? High ticket buyers don't buy information. They buy certainty, identity, and the fast path to results. All right, so force number 2, you want to increase the perceived speed of results. So high ticket buyers pay for acceleration. So they want fast wins. You have to think about it. They don't have a lot of time. They're probably in pain, likely, I can promise you. They should have a pain or a problem, a bleeding neck problem, right? This artery right here should be gushing. And so your solution or your offer is the thing that's going to come in and plug that hole in their neck so that they can stop experiencing pain and basically being close to dying, right? You want to help them get some early wins. They want to make sure you want to make sure they get visible momentum. And then there has to be short paths to validation. So here's what I mean by short paths to validation. A lot of people think that the sale ends once they've given you money. No, the sale actually begins once they've given you money. And here's why. You have to now help them get a win as fast as humanly possible, because helping them get that win as fast as humanly possible, that's what's going to validate in their mind, okay, I made a smart decision. Remember, people buy based on emotion, but then they justify it after the fact with logic. And so you have to be the reason why the logic then comes in and it actually sticks. All right, so make success feel simple and frictionless. Complexity kills conversions. I remember when I used to play basketball, and Mr. Wilson, one of my high school basketball coaches when I was in Birmingham, Alabama, he came, I used to play point guard. And because I'm an entrepreneur too, I've always had the spirit of an entrepreneur. We like to make stuff difficult, like more difficult than they need to be, right? And so because I had that spirit, you're probably just like me in that regard. And so he would always say to me, Jay, so my legal name for those that don't know, it's Jesse. All right. And so he would be like, just kiss. And he would always scream kiss at me. And, some people don't like the full one, but some would say, keep it simple, Sally. But he would be like, keep it simple, stupid, because right now you are acting stupid. All right. So your process must feel short, simple, doable, repeatable, and it must be proven. Now, what I mean by, and I'm going to go back through those real quick. Remember, short, meaning, hey, how fast can I get the result? Simple, right? Don't jump through rings of fire. Can they do it? Do they see themselves being able to get the result that they ultimately want through your mechanism? And we're going to talk about your mechanism here in a minute. Your offer must be repeatable, meaning you must be able to repeatedly make this offer systematically in a way to where people know, hey, these are the next steps, and then it must be proven. Now, proof is either through your story or the story of others. And so any kind of proof before and after. So for example, a transformation, right? So someone was 300 pounds, now they're down to 190 pounds. Like that's a physical transformation. If you're in the relationship space, someone who was going through abuse and self-sabotaging, behaviors, now they found the love of their life and they've been married for 5 years, right? Not that the time limit on a marriage means that the marriage is healthy. It's just that's the before and after transformation. If you're in the help people make money space, and this is the third category that your offer needs to be in. So the health space, relationship space, or the wealth space. And so in the wealth space, you help someone go from not being able to get leads and clients to now they are having 10K months, 100K months. You've helped them scale their business. That's what your offer must be able to do. So here's my 5-step signature framework that I use. So remember, it's all about identity alignment. When we sit down and take a look at creating your offer, we're going to take a look and see, is the current identity comparison to the desired new identity, is that clear? We're going to make sure your offer is optimized, meaning no fluff, right? Like we just want to keep it simple, only put information in that's necessary. Remember, less is more. And then we're going to make sure your message is simple. You want to make sure that your message is at if you can, an FK, Flesh Kincaid score of grade level 3. Look, most people, read on a 5th grade level, right? And everybody should know this and understand this. And I used to struggle with this as well. People would be like, oh my God, that's so complicated. And I used to struggle mentally because I was like, hey, I'm not dumbing anything down. People need to, raise and elevate with their level of understanding and comprehension. And people get upset with Donald Trump because Donald Trump will speak to you at a 2nd grade level. But that's why he has such fanatics, because he speaks to you in a way to where it is so simple, it is so plain, it is so clear, and people run to follow him because he uses simple language, right? All right, so not to get into politics or nothing like that. I literally just used him as an example. Don't y'all check out and get mad at me. All right, so client acquisition acceleration, meaning your offer has to be set up in a way to where you being able to get clients, you got to speed up that process. And there's another masterclass that I teach called the Profit Boosting Secrets Masterclass, where I walk you through how to set up your sales machine and your sales process so that you can accelerate your client acquisition. And then you got to have conversion confidence. What I mean by conversion confidence is you have to believe that you can convert the person who is your ideal client or your dream client. You can convert them into a client. If you don't have that conviction, if you don't have that certainty, then guess what? They're not going to believe that you're the one that can actually guide them and lead them. And just think about this. This happens in a job where you work and you may be, whether it's lower level member of the team, entry level employee, you're a middle manager, but there are people above you, or even if you are the supervisor, right? If you don't think that there's certainty and conviction in the beliefs of the person who's leading you, then you're going to be like, yo, I'm not following you in the battle. I'm not going to, because you got to think about it. You're helping them get through a battle. They're fighting a war. The war with themselves around how much weight they want to lose, the war with themselves around who they want to become so that they can have a happy relationship, the war with themselves on how they can make more money. It is a war, it's a battle. And so you're the leader that's going to go into battle with them and help them win the war. And so if you're going to do that, you have to be convicted to let them know that you can help them win. All right, so force number 4, you want to reduce the risk, the fear, and the hesitation. Look, so everyone is dealing with some form of skepticism. We all are dealing with some form of skepticism. And that's because there are a lot of scammers, right? So I can tell you this: the other day, I signed up for a platform for podcast host to get guests. And also, if you want to be guest, you can be a guest on other people's platforms. Now, they had a trial, and I started the trial. It was a Black Friday trial. You start for $1, and then at the end of the 7-day trial, they were going to charge you a monthly membership fee of $19.99. Well, I woke up this morning, and there was a notification from my Capital One, my credit card, that said that there was a charge that tried to go through, and they wanted me to verify whether or not this was a legitimate charge. And I looked at it, and it was and I'm not going to bash the company like that, but it was a company with their website. And I looked at it and I was like, I've never heard these people, right? And so then I went to the website and I saw who was the CEO and what they were selling and what they were offering. And when I saw the name and the face, I was like, I've never seen his name and his face at this particular company website. So I went back to my email, I searched for his name, and sure enough, it's the same name, same face, same everything, but it was the guy who owns the podcasting company. So 2 different company names. I paid for this company over here, but I'm being charged by this company over here. So I'm like, no. And the amount that they're charging me is not the amount that was supposed to be charged at the end of the trial. So of course I declined it, right? And so there's a lot of scammers and artists out there who are just trying to screw people over. And so you want to make sure that you have these performance guarantees, right? Or you want to make sure you reduce the risk. So the first thing is a performance guarantee, meaning this is the outcome we're going to get. I guarantee you we're going to get this particular outcome. That type of guarantee helps people go, okay, I know exactly what it is that I'm going to get, like the result. The second is clarity of expectation. You have to be clear on what your expectations are of your dream client, because you're going to say, these are the things that I expect from my dream clients. These are the characteristics of my dream clients. And it's not just about demographics all the time. It's the primary piece is going to be about the psychographics, meaning psychology, beliefs, and values. Do we align on those things? Transparent delivery. Tell them, hey, as soon as you make this purchase, you're going to get a text message, you're going to get an email, you're going to get a phone call, your onboarding is going to go this way. You want to be able to be specific so that they clearly understand how things are going to be delivered and what they can expect inside. The emotional reassurance. Here's what I mean by emotional reassurance. Everyone who's in pain is experiencing some forms or multiple forms of negative emotions, okay? And so you want to make sure that there's an emotional reassurance, a connection, where they fully understand that this is a safe space where I can go inside and I can trust and believe that this person is going to help me get the result that I want. All right, safety. Again, I mentioned safety, social proof. testimonials, you in photos with other industry leaders. Who you align yourself with, who you associate yourself with matters when you're presenting your offer to the marketplace. And so you get some testimonials, you get some photos with people who they may know or may not know, but either way, they see you with people. And look, here's another key thing. Make sure those people are attractive, because you're an attractive character and they want to become an attractive character like you. Attractiveness doesn't always mean physical appearance. Now, physical appearance does help. All right. So we all know, like, we'd rather see the pretty girl than the ugly girl. All right. And if you're an ugly girl, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. I'm just letting you know. But there are things that the ugly girl can do as well to make herself look pretty. All right. So you just got to figure that out. And only you know. And look, that ugliness thing is all up in here. It's not here. All right. So get that together. And then access. Like I said, who will they get access to? Will they get access to you? Will they get access to your team? Will they get access to your network? You want to make sure that and all the resources that they're going to get access to. And then you want the buyer to feel that there is zero chance of them failing if they follow you. All right. So you basically say, hey, if we don't get this, particular guarantee, or if we don't get this result for you in 30 days, then I promise to give you your money back, and I'll continue to work with you until we get the result that I promised. Right. So that kind of guarantee will help mitigate the risk. All right. So we're going to get up and we're going to go over to our smart board, because I promised you that we was going to hang out with each other. All right, so part of module 3, we're going to talk about positioning, which is really the soul of your high ticket offer. And what I mean by the soul of your high ticket offer is, are you touching people at their core? Are you making a deep, visceral, emotional, bone, just down to the core of who they are kind of offer and kind of solution? Let me lock this screen real quick so it doesn't rotate on me. All right, so there are 7 positioning pillars that you want to make sure that you cover. Number 1 is category. Are you the category queen or king of whatever it is that you do? Are you the number one? Are you the person that shows up in the marketplace as, you know what, I shouldn't pay attention to anybody else other than you? All right, so number 2 is claim. So when it comes to claim, what big, bold, audacious promise? What do you stand on? What do you believe? Now, here's the deal. I brought up President Trump earlier, and I'm going to use him as an example. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am not a fan of everything he does, but there are some things that I am a fan of. And that's just this one thing I'm about to tell you right now. He stands on business. Right? That is one thing that that regardless of what people say about him, what people try to do to him, he stands on business. Love him, hate him, you have to stand on business if you want people to basically believe your claims. Number 3, and this I brought this up earlier. Now, a lot of people, and you're probably one of those people who hear conviction, and it's probably in a religious or a church context. And I think the church does a terrible job of helping people understand conviction. All right. When I talk about your beliefs, you have to actually believe it. And the way that you demonstrate you believe it is through your actions. Your values plus your beliefs demonstrate your actions. So you can't tell people that you're going to help them experience transformation in the health, wealth, or relationship space if you yourself aren't acting as that person who has already achieved the thing that they're trying to achieve. So conviction goes beyond words. It goes really deep in terms of your behavior, and how you show up is going to determine whether or not they believe it. All right, so number 4 is compare and contrast. What we mean by compare and those are pretty long. All right, why is your way superior? There are so many people in the marketplace. Why is your way the best way or the only way that they should select to help them experience the transformation? There's a crowded marketplace, and let you in on a secret. The best way to separate yourself from your competition is through your story. Be vulnerable, get naked, tell people all your nasty, unky, gunky stuff, right? Everything that you've been through, so that they fully understand that, you know what, this person has been through the mud, they've come out on the other side, they've cleaned themselves off. It's like the hero's journey. Like every action movie that you watch follows the script of the hero's journey, where you were once here, you failed because of something that took place, you went through the darkness and cleaned yourself up, and then you came out as a superhero on the other side. Now, you have to help them realize that they are the superhero in their movie, in their life. You're just a guy that's going to give them the practical steps to help them get to where they want to be. All right, number 5 is critique. So, and I probably spelled critique. All right, what broken systems do you expose, right? So what in your industry is jacked up, right? What methods? So for example, you'll sometimes see people who are fitness trainers. They'll basically say this exercise, and anybody who teaches this exercise is X, right? And so you can come in and say, you know what, anyone who teaches this is X. So you want to basically compare or critique those methods and then show that your method is the different way or the different vehicle. You don't want to build a better mousetrap, right? You just want to show, hey, this is different than everybody else. All right, number 6 is cause. Look, if there's no mission behind your high ticket offer, or there's no mission or cause behind why you do what you do, then it's going to be difficult to get people to believe and buy into what you do. There has to be a deeper mission, cause, and purpose behind what it is that you do. So with us, for example, we have our weekly food ministry where every Thursday we go into the senior community in Bear Creek and we provide them with bags and boxes, fruits, vegetables, bread, meat, you name it. And so that's the deeper reason why we do what we do, because I want us to be able to transform lives through also our food ministry, right? So there's 2 causes associated with my offer. Number 1 is we're on a mission to help 1 million business owners create multi-million-dollar businesses and exit. That means I have to build infrastructure within the business to make sure it's sustainable after I'm dead and gone. And then number 2 is our ministry, where we want to transform 10 billion lives by feeding our seniors across the globe. And you're probably thinking, bro, there's like only 7.8 or 9 billion people on the planet. You'll never be able to feed everyone. Just think about this. Yes, there aren't 10 billion people currently on the planet. At some point, though, the planet is going to continue to grow. The population will continue to grow and replenish itself. That means we have to make sure the ministry is sustainable even after I'm dead and gone. That's our cause. That's our mission. That's our purpose in 2 areas. All right. And then number 7 is character. Like I said to you before, who will they become, right? So how you show up as a leader. If you don't show up as the leader who they want to become. Now, what I mean by this is you're not going to become an idol in their life. Like, you're not going to replace God or source or universe or whatever you believe. And I'm not getting into all of that, but you're not here to replace anything. Don't put yourself above God, at least not around me, because I'll tell you, go away. However, you do want to position yourself as someone who is worthy of them accepting your advice, them following your mentorship, your guidance, your leadership. You have to position yourself as that leader. All right, so let's talk about the high ticket value equation. So this is module 4. All right, so I hope this is making sense to you. If this is making sense to you, let's keep going. If this is not making sense to you, you can send me a message. You can let me know that something didn't make sense to you, and I promise you I will give you clarity, and we'll even come back and record this again if we have to, just to make sure. All right, so there are 4 key components of the high ticket value equation. So I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so number 1 is desire. If your offer doesn't speak to what they deeply desire, now, not what you desire for them, but what they desire. And so this is where you have to have conversations and you have to actively listen to what your target market is saying, what they say that they want. And if you don't speak to their desires, people are going to check out. Number 2 is urgency, right? People want to get that problem solved ASAP, right? Does your offer say I can help you get that ASAP? All right. Trust. Look, trust is huge. You first have to trust yourself. I remember when a phase in my own journey where I didn't trust and believe that I was good enough, smart enough, talented enough, charismatic enough, handsome enough. Like, we all go through these moments where our mental health is just all over the place, right? especially with me, because for me, when I transitioned out of the military, you have to think about it. I was a military member, an Air Force member for 15 years. So when I transitioned out, and then I joined the military when I was 19, right? So I didn't know a damn thing about life at age 19. And then for the next 15 years, I was conditioned and programmed to be an Air Force member. And now I'm getting out of the military, and now I got to figure out how the hell do I be a civilian? I don't know anything about, especially not as a mature adult, right? So the trust in myself was very weak. So you have to trust yourself. You have to trust that you are the person that can help them get this result. You have to trust that your method or your system or your method and process is the solution to their problem. And then I'm going to bring it up again, and that is belief, right? Now, you have to believe in it, but you also have to get them to believe, right? So your beliefs have to be at such a high level to where their beliefs have to match your beliefs. And your ideal audience has tons of limiting beliefs. Everything that keeps us from going to our next level comes down 100% to our beliefs. When you have these four elements, right? So this is going to create an identity shift. It's going to boost their status. It's going to give them emotional safety. It's going to help them get accelerated wins. It's going to be very simple. And then you want to add some proof, okay? And all of those will collapse their resistance to your offer. All right, let's go back over here to the desk. I'm going to plug my laptop back in. As I told you, it's on its way out, but I got to keep it going so we can get this knocked out. All right, so when it comes to designing your signature offer, right? So I call it your difference maker offer, because you're going to go out and you're going to make a difference in other people's lives. All right, so the number one thing is your core transformation and promise. Remember, the identity shift that they're going to experience. But then when it comes to your delivery system, and here's what I mean by your delivery system. So when we talk about your delivery system, there are a couple of key things that you have to have. You know, are you promising them private sessions? Are there going to be some one-on-one sessions where they have direct access to you or to some of the other coaches that you might have, or members of your team and your staff that's going to help them implement what they need to implement and make it easy? Are you offering group coaching program, right? So in a group coaching setting, you want to ensure that you set up a container, right? So it's basically a moat. You want to create an environment to where they want to stay. They love being a part of your community. And then there are things within your community that they can't get inside of another community. So that's the key. Are you offering them workshops, templates, checklists? Is there some type of accelerator program associated with your offer? So in my Profit Boosting Secrets Masterclass, I basically break down for you what's the best way for you to kind of structure your sales machine, your sales funnel process, so that you can maybe offer a challenge or a boot camp or an accelerator within your sales funnel to help people get to their next level. Are there AI integrations, right? Have you built your own GPT? Are there accountability systems, right? Have you built accountability into your program? I highly recommend that you build accountability into your program, because building accountability into your program allows you to basically ensure that people are taking the necessary steps to get the results that you promise. You cannot trust and believe that people are just going to automatically take the actions that you want them to take. Some will take the initiative. Some are a little more ambitious than others. And so you have to make sure that you set up your program in a way to where there's check-ins, there's huddles, there are steps that they have to take to say, hey, I achieved or I accomplished. So for example, like in the school communities, for example, there are different leaderboards. So you want to make sure that your program is set up in a way to where people have to take specific actions in order for them to unlock next levels or unlock new tools, resources, or trainings. All right. And then your framework. So I talked about it earlier. You want to make sure that your framework has no more than 5 steps. So no less than 3 and no more than 5 steps. This is your intellectual property. All right. So less than 3 clearly is not enough. And then more than 5 is just way too much. Remember, KISS, keep it simple. All right. And then your support layers. Do they get access to a Slack channel to where they can communicate with you, team, and other members of your program? Can they Vox you? If you don't know, Vox is like a walkie-talkie app where they can, chirp walkie-talkie you. It's like a text message, but it's all voice, and then they can send you messages back, and you can send them. Is there a Q&A, way for them to go in and get their questions answered? Whether this is a Facebook group, a school community, is there dedicated support? Say, for example, office hours. Like I had no idea that there in office hours was even a thing until one of my students was like, "Hey, do you offer that?" And I'm like, "I'm not a professor. Like, why am I offering you office hours? Like, you should be, like I said, ambitious and go on your own." But now I make sure that we have, 3 different sessions every single week where I show up and I'm able to teach and answer questions and give feedback and give suggestions so that people can get the results they want. And do you offer audits or even reviews, right? Will you audit, their sales page? Will you audit their email funnel? Will you audit their meal plan? Will you give them a review of whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish and create for themselves? So when you offer these different support layers, that increases the value of your high ticket offer. And you want to make sure that this is built into your landing page, your emails, your VSLs, which is your video sales letters for those that don't know what a VSL is. You want to make sure that this is all built into it because, again, most people won't remember it the first time they either heard it or saw it or read it. So you want to make sure it's in multiple places throughout your entire sales process. All right, next we're going to talk about your assets. So I mentioned earlier that templates, checklists, guides, worksheets, dashboards, plug and play systems, scripts, all of those components or all of those assets are components of your high ticket offer. And you likely already have a lot of these built out already because you've built them for yourself, or you probably got them from other coaching programs and you're modeling what someone else is doing. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay. So you can do that. All right. And then is there a risk reversal? So like I said, a results guarantee. Is there a customer experience guarantee? Like, can you guarantee that they're going to experience X as a result of going through your program? And this could be something transformed in their life, something transformed in their relationships, something transformed, in how much time, they have to work in their business, which is why I love the whole work less to profit more philosophy. Because if you don't want to experience that type of transformation, then I don't know what else to tell you. All right. So your bonus logic, right? So your bonuses should crush objections. That's all your bonuses, your templates, your checklists, your guides, your master classes. They should crush objections to whatever resistance that they have in investing in your core offer, your difference maker offer. And so every bonus that you create should have some alignment with the core outcome or the core result that you're promising to people. All right. It should also shorten the time to get the result. It should increase the perceived ease, right? Like, oh, if I get this bonus, it's going to make it easier for me to get this particular results. And like I said to you before, there should be no fluff, just straight value, straight practical advice, steps that they can take immediately so that they can implement within their business and get the result that they want. All right. Now, when it comes to pricing, high ticket pricing. So I consider high ticket to be $2,500 or more. So it can be, you can have an offer that is $2,500 for 30 days, $2,500 for 90 days, and your offer can go to $25,000 plus, right? That's a high ticket offer. But the things that you have to make sure that your high ticket price is based on is, will their identity shift? Will they get a return on their investment? The cost of them doing nothing. We're going to talk about the cost here in a few minutes. The category authority. Does your offer show up as I'm the king or queen in my category? And then will your offer help them become the king or queen in their category? All right. Speed. Remember, success loves speed. Money loves speed too. So you have to be able to not just promise people that you're going to help them get a result fast. You have to also promise people that your process is not just fast, but it's an easy process for them to go through to get the result that they want. And then, like I said, access. All right, let's jump back over here to the smart board. All right, so we're going to talk about module 6. We're going to talk about story, status, and alignment at a deeper level. All right, so high ticket buyers, they want purpose, they want alignment, they want meaning, they want legacy, and they want leadership. I'm gonna repeat those. All right, so they want, come on here. All right, so they want purpose, they want alignment, and I know by now you should realize like some of the stuff that Jay is saying is repetitive, and it is repetitive on purpose. Repetition is the mother of all learning. Remember, you had to tie your shoes multiple times before you finally figured out how to tie your shoes. You had to drive a car with a parent or some kind of adult or driving course instructor multiple times before you were able to be qualified to go get your driver's license. Repetition is the mother of all learning. So if it sounds as if I'm saying things to you repetitively, I'm just saying it the same. I'm saying the same thing, just in different ways, because I want to make sure that you get this. And just because you hear something one time, it does not mean you've got it. You have to hear it multiple times. All right. The third one is meaning. Like, what does this mean to me, right? Or what does it mean to them? The fourth one is legacy. Look, I can't emphasize that enough, right? People who are high ticket buyers, I mean, they're just leaders, right? They think different, they move different, you think different, you move different, you operate differently because you are a high ticket buyer. Otherwise, you wouldn't be inside of this masterclass. All right. And then leadership. Remember, you are a leader. One of the things that used to piss me off in the very beginning is, people would just say, yep, I'm going to help you get this result. You'd pay them their money and then they just ghost you, right? Like they disappear or you wouldn't have access to them. And you're like, hold up, wait. Like, I thought this person was supposed to be my guide. They're promising me to get from here to there, but I got to figure out what steps I'm supposed to take next by myself. That's not it. It takes leadership. All right. So the most important things is I'm going to bring up a new screen. All right. And make sure you're taking screenshots if you haven't already been taking screenshots. All right. So here's what it takes. The story that positions you as a guide. Right? So you have your origin story, which is the story that caused you to be in whatever it is that you went through or what you experienced. So in my particular case, my origin story is I was separated from the military after 15 years of active duty service. It wasn't my choice. There was a drawdown after the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. I was completely devastated. I lost my mind, major depressive disorder, a slight little hint of PTSD, according to the therapist. I went through bankruptcy, went through foreclosure, and then, of course, I've now got my transformation is now look at me, right? I've bought some businesses. I've helped other entrepreneurs implement systems so they can work less to profit more. I work part-time in my agency. I now have a ministry that's transforming lives. So you see the transformation of how where I was once here, I'm now here. And that story is what bridges the gap to help them take the steps. So imagine your dream client is on one side of the lake, you're on the other side of the lake, and your offer is the stepping stones that they step on to get to the other side of the lake where you are. All right, next is the beliefs that your car offer break. Remember, your offer has to destroy the limiting beliefs, the I'm not good enough. And you have to think about your core offer should speak to the identity that they want to become in the future, not the old version of you. Like, notice I didn't get up here and tell you, oh, this is where I was, 10 years ago when I first started this. And, I went through all this painful stuff. I gave you my story when I broke down what my origin story was. But notice I've been talking to you from a position of authority about where I am right now, because I believe that where I am right now is where you want to get to. All right, the emotional journey from doubt to desire. Remember, I gave you a little bit of that piece of my story earlier when I told you I thought I wasn't good enough, smart enough, charismatic enough. All the emotions and all the limiting beliefs and thoughts that go through your head. And you have to understand, even people who, make 6 figures a year, even people who make 6 figures a month, everyone has limiting beliefs. So you just have to keep that in mind, that, oh my God, just because they're going to pay me $5,000 for this particular offer, that all of their belief systems are, maxed out or at a higher level. People have thought that, my belief systems were maxed out or higher than theirs. And I'm asking them for help. And I'm like, bro, I'm asking you for help because I need help. right? Don't make assumptions. All right. And then the identity shift required to deliver a premium level offer to your ideal clients. All right, let's jump back over here to the desk. We're going to get ready to jump over into module number 7. Before we do that, I'm going to plug this here iPad back into its charger. All right, so let's get down to module 7. All right, so the high ticket messaging blueprint. All right, so you have to be very, very sharp in your messaging. And what I mean by sharp in your messaging is it has to be crystal clear. Like, you cannot think that people will understand you and you're just rambling and mumbling and you're not using, clear language. It's all about speaking clearly. As a leader, you have the responsibility of making sure that the message is communicated in a way that it's clear and it's understood. It's one thing to just talk. Like, I tell my wife all the time, Bianca and I, we talk, and I'll ask her, like, hey, did you understand me? And she's like, I heard you. And I'm like, okay, I can dig it. You heard me, right? Ears, right? You heard me. But did you understand me, right? Like, did it really get through to you? Are you actively listening? And did you receive the message? All right. You want to speak to their ego and their emotions. If you're not speaking to their ego and their emotions, you're missing out, right? So we all have an ego, right? Some people are better at leaving their ego outside, and then some people bring their ego into everything that they do. And so when I talk about speaking to status, are you going to help them drive their dream car? Are you going to help them get the earnest money on their dream home? Are you going to help them get their dream spouse? Are you going to help them weigh their dream weight, whatever that might be? Are you going to help them take their dream vacations? All of those things matter. All right. Call out their identity, elevate their new identity, and then make your offer feel like the obvious next step. Right. So whatever your offer is, it has to make sense in their mind. Like, okay, I got this lead magnet, which your lead magnet is an offer. I got this lead magnet, and this lead magnet can be a template, checklist, guide. It can be a book. It can be a challenge, boot camp, training, workshop. It can be a masterclass, right? These are all ideas of lead magnet offers. And I recommend premium lead magnets, meaning they have to give you some money, so they've got skin in the game and you don't have a bunch of tire kickers on your list, right? And that offer can be $5, right? So something really low. I know a lot of times we think that, oh my God, I want to make it to $1 million. But when we talk about economies of scale, again, how many people you need to get to that $1 million is going to be determined by what the price is of that offer. All right. In your offer, you want to highlight these things here. The before and after identity statements, like the statements that they are currently saying versus the statements that they will say after they get done with your offer. The problem versus the root problem. Oftentimes when it comes to the problem, they think that that's the problem, but it's really surface level. There's always a deeper reason why something is happening. So, for example, here within our company, one of the problems that we have sometimes is the messaging, just wouldn't hit right. And I would say, oh, the problem is I'm not clear on who my target market is. No, that is a problem, but that's surface level. The root problem is I'm not clear on who I am and my identity, right? And because once you get clear on who you are and your identity, that's what allows you to speak and communicate from this is where I once was, this is who I am and what I do now, and you show up different, right? So you have to be able to do that. Speak to the root problem, all right? The language of their next level, the language of who they want to become, not who they currently are. You can talk about who they currently are. Yeah, you speak on that so that they can understand that you get where they are, but you want to use the language of their next level, what their life or their business is going to be like. All right. And then belief shifting hooks. Now, a belief shifting hook, and I'm not going to go into details on hooks, but consider hooks like when you're watching a reel or a clip and the text that's on the screen, that's a hook. And you want to make sure that everything that you use within creating your offer, specifically on your landing page, your VSLs, even in podcasts, you want to utilize hooks, right? And I've used several hooks throughout this particular masterclass. to keep you, engaged and locked in so that we can move you throughout this entire process, right? And it takes practice. That's why I say repetition is the mother of all learning. It takes practice. All right. And then we want to speak to those emotional drivers. And what I mean by, those emotional drivers is you want to make sure that the things that just jump up and down on their emotions, right? Don't just say, oh, you feel stressed. Oh, you feel overwhelmed. Oh, you feel burned out. No, you want to talk about how they're up late at night while their spouse is in bed resting well and they're glued to their laptop drinking coffee at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? Like you see how I touch the emotions, they're missing out on quality time. You missed the chance to go and enjoy your kids or your grandkids dance recital. So you miss out on quality moments with the people that you love, and you're not able to build a relationship strong with the people that you care about, right? So deeper and emotional, not just, oh my God, you work a lot. Okay. You have to be very clear and touch those emotions. All right. We're going to stay here. All right. Module 8. So we're on 8. There's 9 modules and we're going to wrap up here in a second. All right, so module 8 is going to give you a quick breakdown of my full high ticket offer build out, meaning what we specifically do and how I help my mentees create their high ticket offer. So we help you get clear on your dream outcome, right? So what's the dream outcome of your ideal client? Your 3 to 5 step framework, right? So we'll literally work through what those steps are practically and then help you build content around that 3 to 5 step framework so that whenever you are sharing content out in the marketplace, it puts you in a higher position, right? And then the fast win promise, like what promise are you helping your ideal clients get, right? So what are you going to help them get fast? The risk reversal, meaning how do you say to them, this is how we minimize the risk of you losing money, wasting time, losing your reputation, your identity not changing and transferring, or you losing out on energy, right? So we'll help you get clear on the risk reversal. We're also going to help you with your pricing structure. I know price is a major thing when people start creating offers. Yes, your offer and the transformation that you help people experience, it's worth $2,500. It's worth $5,000. It's worth 10. It just depends. How much work do you want to do? Do you want to do a whole lot of work for a little bit of money, or do you want to do the least amount of work for a whole lot of money? And it's okay for you to make a whole lot of money. All right. And then your buyer belief map. What I mean by your buyer belief map is the different beliefs that you have to overcome with your buyers to help them believe that your offer is the solution to their problem, right? So we'll map that out. That way, when you create VSLs, podcasts, emails, social media posts, or even copy on your landing page, we're knocking down all the limiting beliefs, and then we're speaking to the beliefs that they have that are going to help them get to their next level. All right. And then we'll go with your high ticket sales pitch. So when it comes to your high ticket pitch, like I literally put a quick pitch of this offer for you. Then I'm going to give you a call to action just so you can see it in real time, right? So this is the us helping you create your high ticket offer. This is me pitching it to you. This isn't about learning anymore. It's about becoming more. I built this offer for leaders who are done carrying the weight alone and ready to step into a future where they operate with clarity, impact, and authority. If you're ready to claim the identity that unlocks your next level, let's build your offer right away. All right. And then here's my call to action to you. So listen to me closely. All right. If you're serious about expanding your business, simplifying your systems, and multiplying your income while working less, it's time for a real conversation. Click the link right below this video and schedule your Catalyst System Assessment call. That way we can determine whether or not we're a good fit for each other. We can create your high ticket offer right there on that call. You'll walk away with everything that I just promised you here in this particular module. And the reason why I'm doing that is to demonstrate and prove to you that I know that I can help you get from where you are to where you want to be so you can make the money that you want to make so you can work less to profit more. If that's what you want, click the link right below. That's all it takes. Click the link, schedule your call, and I look forward to supporting you. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.